This incredible woman went from helping people buy and sell homes as a real estate professional to helping people on a much larger scale. She has followed her dream and passion to be of service. She has created a unique, one of a kind gym, which I will let her explain. And I know for a fact that you will find so much value and transformation in just this one show. We have SuZan Peltekian here. She went from real estate, helping people buy and sell homes, to helping people manifest anything they want, including homes. So SuZan, thank you so much for being on here. And please tell us your story. I'd love to hear how the transition happened, how you decided to follow your dreams from real estate.
Deanna, it's just a joy having you here, and you having me as well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I was saying to you I'm off recording what a ray of sunshine you are. So I'm delighted to be here and
You're
to
so
serve your
sweet.
awesome. Thank you, thank you. What were a very long story short, it was one decision. Whoever's listening in, wherever you are, whether you're in the deep end with any challenge, any contrast in your life, or if you're thriving, you're literally one decision away from a completely different life. You know that because of our chat. You've created your life by design, which is what I live and breathe to teach. I made one decision to retire from real estate right before COVID. We had no idea that COVID was hitting. That was January of 2020. And we found out in Toronto in March, and I had attracted at the time the number one Remax worldwide. That happens to be a Canadian brand, Remax Hallmark, exceptional
Beautiful.
souls. Yes, that who filled up all of my coaching spots during COVID. So it was literally
Amazing.
one decision, which ironically I teach, and it takes that to create that. And now, fast forward, it's been 5 years. This has been my childhood dream, and why I didn't do it any time before is because I never believed in myself. So I did a lot of inner work. I do a lot of inner work till my last breath. I will be, and that is what has us talking today. So thank you so much for asking.
That
Uh,
is so beautiful. And you are of service. So you literally went to serving other people, helping other people. That must just be so rewarding for you. It's absolutely amazing.
right, right. Then it was serving, and I was actually thinking of you. I was so excited to be on this beautiful podcast of yours today, and I was saying in my head how lucky your clients must be, because I get to work with the most exquisite realtors. I mean, Remax Hallmark filled up all my spots at the time. They're the number one for a reason. When we say number one, they don't say it out of ego. They're like far from it. They're humbled. Servants. I am a humbled servant. I don't work a day in my life, Dee, and it's a privilege because I get to really serve my people. This has been my childhood dream and divine purpose, and my vision is literally to co-create yours so that you get to live your juiciest life by design. Because the more I'm waking up every day, thanks to the work, I realize that it's all lies. We've been told so many lies about our limitations, and the biggest real estate. And it was a privilege to be a realtor because I did it through cold door knocks and cold calls. And 1 second you're a complete stranger, and then the next second I'm getting goosebumps. You're like in their home. For most Canadians and most, I would say, human beings around the globe, it's not only their biggest asset, it's their only asset. So it was such a privilege to get into their home and to be part of their families, get invited to weddings and the like. And this was my life's calling. I mean, I felt like I was cheating on myself of not doing this. So
Yes.
finally, one day I just couldn't. I was literally making cold calls. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And that was literally what happened. I made the decision, and this is what I teach. When you follow universal laws, these are God's laws, however you call it. Whoever's listening, and if you don't believe in God, I use the words interchangeably with Gus. That's God, universe, spirit, infinite intelligence, co-creator, whatever
Absolutely.
you believe in, right? There's energy.
Energy. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And I feel
Thank
like
you.
you've manifested your perfect life and you're traveling the world right now. You're in Dubai, and thank you so much, because I know there's such a massive time difference. You're in Dubai right now,
Joy.
traveling the world and still being able to touch people. So that's so beautiful. And I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So
Please.
I 100% believe that I've manifested the life that I have. I 100%. I have I've had the horse of my dreams on my vision board. I've had the little homestead on my vision board for years. And if anybody that knows me, they knew that this is what I wanted to do. So this is something that I've been manifesting for so many years. And I've worked so hard to be able to create this life. And I feel so blessed every single day. And I don't mean to be gushy or anything like this, but
Please
I
do.
just
Yes,
I just feel
yes.
like when you create your dream and you're able to have that power, and I don't talk about this enough, when you feel like you have the power to manifest, and it's just the most incredible feeling that you're so powerful as a human being. And it's just amazing. And I love that you're doing the work that you're doing, and you're instilling that in other people, and you're creating these amazing superhumans, right? That's really what you're doing. Like, that's
I'd,
what we are.
I'd like to say that I'm creating. I can't take any of the credit. Dee, you are exceptional. Thank you for that. I am in love with your story, and you did totally, man. And I'm just so elated for you. And anything you want is yours. You're so powerful. It, every human being, I love how you said thanks for being here from Dubai. And for me, time is a man-made thing. It's my privilege. I'm humbled to be here, especially with you. I hope we get to touch the billions that I want to serve, because that's my life's work. This is my dedication and devotion. It's a joy. And we're all manifesting constantly. So most realtors would come to me at the beginning because I could serve anyone, but because of my path as a realtor and having attracted the Remax Hallmark, a lot of my clients are realtors or mortgage brokers, and you don't have to be. You could be in any field really. And they come to me first to learn how to manifest. We're constantly and consistently manifesting. What I love so much about your story, Dee, is that you're manifested by design, which is what I teach. Because of our childhood programming, most of us are constantly and consistently manifesting by default. And my life's work is to um, um, invite you to step into your greatness, her with a capital H, him with a capital H, for you to actually know, not here in your conscious mind, how exquisite, how exceptional, how magical you are, but in your heart of hearts, in your subconscious, in your body, in your emotional mind, because 95 to 98% of our results are coming from the subconscious, for you to actually have that knowingness of how you truly are number one of one. It took 1 in 400 trillion for you to be here. That means you're a walking miracle. Your pure potentiality. That individual, bless them, who got awareness about the internet, allows us there. You're in BC, God bless Canada, and here I am in Dubai, and it doesn't matter where we are. But that same genius who got the awareness, because there is nothing to truly create if we really bring it back down to the nitty gritty. Everything is energy, as we talked about. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It was always here. It
Yeah.
always will be here. That's you. That's me. That's
Yeah.
everyone listening in. And deep being that doesn't take away from anyone else. There's infinite supply. And I explain that to my clients as well. It's like, well, SuZan, but the MLS, there are not enough listings, let's say. Yes, when we stop having those scarce thoughts and limitations and fear, right, we can actually create. That's what you're doing when you're at home and you call a client and you create that deal, as we call it, right, that
Hmm.
listing. You've actually been of service to your client. You've created something newly. It didn't exist. And imagine if all of us
Absolutely.
thought that way.
And this is not some foo-foo. Like, this is quantum physics. This is on a
Thank
level of science.
Yes.
And that's what I love when you mentioned energy, because that's absolutely what it is. We are all energy. And that is so powerful. And it is science. It's not something that's made up, or and it's amazing. So staying positive, of course, is important. Staying focused on your goals. And those goals might feel a little bit out of reach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just might feel like you're so consumed with your current reality. You don't
Yes.
have the job that you want. You don't have the partner that you want. You might not have the life that you want yet, but you know what you want. How do you transition from my life sucks
Yeah.
and to this is what I want? How do I get there? Because there's such a big gap. And it's staying positive. It's waking up every day knowing that you want that right partner, or you have that right partner because you want to envision that you already have it. But it's so hard when you don't have the job that you want, or financial stability, or whatever it is. How do you shift? How do you stay in that energy?
That's such an excellent question. Thanks for asking it, uh, Deanna. I love it. It is. So, first step in manifesting anything is being crystal clear on what we want. And it's interesting because you've known, you actually said, when you know, most don't, by the way. So I've been making it a point on to ensure that even if a podcast host doesn't ask me that question, I put it in there, because that I want to supercharge our one world. I want everyone to know that that's the first step of manifestation. We must know what we want. A lot of what I teach, and thank you for saying it's not foo-foo, it is totally backed up by neuroscience and absolutely quantum physics, as you mentioned so beautifully. It's first step is knowing what we want, and a lot of this stuff in the law of attraction, if not all, because I haven't read the Bible cover to cover, I don't teach theology, is in the Bible. Without a vision, the people perish. So my first step to everyone who joins coaching, and you don't have to be in coaching, whoever's listening in, please, when this brilliant young lady's podcast goes live, first thing, take pen to paper, not tomorrow, not the weekend, today, write down your vision. And if you're stopped by, yes, please, and if you're stopped by creating, like, because you have had beautiful clarity from your share, and you have not just have had, you have, D, right? So it's write down what you want. Now there's a caveat: we don't get what we want, we get who we're being. So Bob Proctor, who passed away 3 years ago, was one of my mentors. He was in the movie The Secret, Canadian, but had his company in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to, from childhood, as I mentioned, be this inspirational, motivational coach, rah-rah people. And it's not about rah-rahing, D, because Zig Ziglar, what would he say? That motivation is like bathing. You got to bathe every day, otherwise there's a problem, right? He didn't say it in those ways, but I am, right? So this is the same. It's not about positive thinking as much as learning who you truly are. And that most of it happens by you unlearning the programming, which is mostly lies, by the way. If you don't know that you're pure liquid love, that you are literally Michelangelo's David, all we're doing, even when you're becoming, you're really unbecoming, is chipping away at the layers of the conditioning, at the lies, at the BS, so that you can actually unleash the truest version. And I mean, I've been doing the work for years. I tell my Billionaires Club, they've been with me. Listen to this. We were in Mike Ferry coaching together for 3 years prior to the 5 years that we just celebrated. Supercharged with Susan became 5 years ago, right? Because we were friends in the Mike Ferry program. We started for free. I started charging them. They stayed. I upped their investment. They stayed. I upped it again. They stayed. They just renewed again in January.
Beautiful.
And it's like, you can't recognize them. And I remind them every day, because we're together at 7:30 Eastern in our mind gym. I say, we just starting to chip away at what is truly possible for us. Like, we're just like, we haven't even started to scratch the surface of what's possible. Basically, that's how limitless we are. That same limitless mind who got the awareness about the internet, we have that genius, D. And I used to think, why are you saying that to like make me feel good? Sure, it does feel good, right? Because it resonates with the core of who we are. And it's not to make you feel good. That's the reality. We're just not to compare a fish with a bird, right?
Yeah.
Each one of us has our own zone of genius, right? If I were doing math right now or quantum physics, no, but being a coach and a speaker, it's my natural gift. I'm in my zone of genius, right? Going back to your question, when I learned, so I did want to become this rah-rah motivational, and because of my natural levels of enthusiasm, there is an aspect of that in our programs, right? And that's a smaller aspect, thanks to what I learned from Bob. Bob said, the only prerequisite to having it all, and I mean all, and you know this, D, is knowing what you want. That's step one, that's the vision. Number two, there's a caveat. We don't get what we want. We get who we're being. And that's the self-image piece. We may have heard it described as self-concept or identity. They're one of the same. So our work to actually become exactly what you said is to actually create our self-image, which could be first the vision. From that vision, well, if I want this super juicy life by design where I'm traveling the world, making a massive difference to mankind, and who do I get to be? What version of
Yeah.
myself? Because that version exists. There are infinite realities happening all at the same time. So let's create that version. It's the subconscious only understands in the present tense. So let's write a short paragraph of I am statements of who that individual is. Now what you want to do, the same way as we learn how to walk or how to ride a bike or our car or drive our cars, or how we get to the office without even knowing if we drive to the office. We don't, but yes, right? Is automatic. The
Mm-hmm.
subconscious does it for us. So we want to repeat. Now, the paradigm, the mental programming isn't interested in repeating, and that's we're up against it constantly and consistently. My invitation to whoever is listening in: first, write down the vision. Second, write down the self image. Third, take both, record it on an app. I'm not a paid affiliate. I should be, nor do I have stocks in the company. I've been using it and suggesting it to our One World since I have. It's been years. It's called Think Up. There are other versions of it. Okay, I recommend whoever's listening to get the free version and upgrade. It's the best upgrade. It's lifetime. You can buy it, and then record your vision and you listen to it while you're walking, while you're cooking, while you're driving. As realtors, drive a lot. So what you're doing is you're telling your subconscious what you want versus what you don't want. Otherwise, that what you said about how do we be positive, if most of us have had some sort of trauma, the habitual programming is going to be, oh no, it's another day, or
Mm-hmm.
my goodness.
Yeah.
And I can go over 10, 20, 30, as many as you want, a different supercharge shifters to say how we can become more positive. I was
Mm-hmm.
the queen of toxic positivity, where I looked
Wow.
exactly like this, but my inside was like, oh, right? And it's doing the work. You really get to know yourself and you realize, what is it that, or like, oh, the alarm goes off, I'm not another day. Or you look
Mm-hmm.
at the alarm, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get my 8 hours. Oh, 7, now 6, now. No, the last prayer that you want to say, first you want to write a supercharge shifter is 3 wins before you go to sleep. Then the best
Before you
prayer,
go to sleep.
yeah, Neville
Yes.
Goddard
Okay.
says the best prayer instead of asking is the word thank you. Thank you. When do we say
Gratitude.
thank you? When we receive it. We get to be on your brilliant
Yeah.
podcast. I said, thanks for having me, right? When we receive a
Yes.
gift or a compliment. So when you're saying thank you as you're dozing off, that's one of the most powerful times, by the way. First thing in the morning when we're at our groggiest, and last thing at night. That's when the subconscious is awake 24/7. It's listening to us constantly and consistently, and it's at its most awake during those times. So what do most people do? Get up, oh no, I didn't get enough sleep, or not another day. But it's all because of the programming.
Mm-hmm.
And what you asked specifically there, it's because of the programming. Something on the outside doesn't work. Well, our entire work in our spiritual work in the law of attraction is to live from the inside out. It's the easiest thing to sit here and talk about, Dee, and I can go into more. I just don't want to go on and on. I would
No,
go
I
into
love
another, but yeah.
this.
Yeah, but we were living from the outside in, which I did for the duration of my life, which is still a default way if I don't catch myself. But there's one thing that allows us to catch it, and it's called awareness. And that's the difference
Yes.
between all of us, and I can talk more about that should you wish to.
Love,
Or
love,
not.
love it. And
Thank
you're
you.
absolutely right. And I've been saying this. Gratitude is such a powerful thing. And there's always something to be grateful for. So focusing on that, focusing on your gratitude, focusing the things that you are grateful for. You may not have everything, but you have beautiful things to be grateful for. And your mind is so powerful. And I just remembered when you were talking, because it starts triggering beautiful things in my mind.
Please do
Um,
share.
I was thinking, because I can't remember which book it was, and I don't remember. I read a lot of books through Audible, and it was something about your mind is such a powerful tool. And what it does, it actually creates your body to respond a certain way. Like if we think about lemons, our mouth is going to
There.
start salivating, right? Oh,
You see
there
how
you go. Because
powerful
you're not
you are?
feeling right. Your mouth is starting to
This was
salivate.
a plan, y'all. This was a
I
plan.
love
Do you see how,
it.
what a
And
powerful manifester you are? My mouth is watering.
right.
It's because you said lemons and I'm touching. Do you see? Look at you.
Yeah,
Oh
right? It's amazing. And it's like, so our mind is so powerful that it will create a physical reaction, and yet we don't use it so much. So when we're grateful, we're going to start naturally feeling happy. We're going to start naturally feeling uh, better, even
yes.
though maybe our external situation isn't there yet. So I love that. And you had it right on the money. Be grateful. So be, do, have, right? Is that the
Ooh, that's the
three
magic.
major?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yes.
It's on your, I
I
love your
can.
website, by the way. Let's talk about be, do, have.
Oh, I love do have. Thank you for asking, and thank you for saying that you're just such a brilliant, beautiful soul inside and out. You just radiate. You ooze love. Thank you, Dee. Um, what you said there, being grateful, gratitude is one of the highest vibrational frequencies we can actually be on. But I had said decision earlier, that's another extremely high, right? So that is fantastic that you said it. And I love how you gave an actual example. So we all have a list of things that are working and a list that aren't, right? And some in between. So let's say you mentioned the love aspect. If we are looking for it, ideally we can actually create that ideal individual. And then remember, we don't get what we want, we get who we're being. Now we want to create a match, be that match, repeat, see ourselves with the person, talking with the person, eating with the person, dancing with the person, walking with the person. Before you know it, they will arrive. But what happens with manifestation, most human beings are focused on the lack of it. They're like, I want, I
Mm-hmm.
want, I want. Well, want creates want. We're magnets, like attracts like. So now we're attracting to us that energy of want, whether it's money, and we've heard it in real estate with the commission saying, commission breath, right? And
Oh,
that
yes.
ties in so beautifully with the be do have. I love this model so much, and it took me years. I'm not proud to admit, but I want to be honest and authentic. It took me years to get, really years. I struggled because I didn't get it. And whoever's listening in, you all can use it right this minute and any time throughout the day, all day, every day, and you will just create magical results beyond. And I'll give you an example from my real estate days. But before I explain be do have, I'll explain the two bankrupt models. Most are living in have do be. That's where I was most of my life. It's a
Mm-hmm.
conditional, which was your question as well about circumstances, because we all have circumstances of things are working and things aren't. Our entire work with the law of attraction, this is how crazy this is, and this is so true, D, is as humans we will have multiple things working for us. There will be one, we'll focus on that. And the right?
Yeah.
The law of attraction says if you have 99 things, may no one or any human soul listening in have that happen to them. If you have, it says 99 things that aren't working, you have only one. If you focus on the one, by law, the 99 must disappear. We're doing the opposite, but that actually shows how powerful we are, as you said, with our thoughts from
Yeah.
that book, right? So here, have to be is the victim mentality. It's victim
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. Most of us grew up with that. I never say all just to be accurate. So it's when I have the husband, I'll be happy. When I have the
Yeah.
money, I'll join coaching. When I have the money, I'll start my podcast. When I have the money, I'll. It's such a conditional way of living, um, that, and or when I have the money, I'll hire the assistant. Whatever it may be. When I have the money, I'll be happy. Whatever. Meanwhile, happiness is a choice. It's a beingness that is, you can be happy because, and we can be grateful because we actually woke up. So many didn't today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I joke about that, but it's not a joke. Right, and we
Yeah.
take it
It's so
like for
true.
granted.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So have do be. I jumped from that to do have be, and as a realtor, that's really not fun because all we all have is 24 hours a day. How many doors can you knock on? How many cold calls can you make? I've door knocked in the plus 40, in the minus 40.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hustling and grinding, which, by the way, I had bought into. I used to wake up at 4 a.m. It's one of the biggest lies we were sold. As a realtor, that fit in perfectly. I'm a city realtor. I'm from Toronto. Do you know the market similar to Vancouver? Right? It's like, no, you don't have to hustle and grind. And there are many examples of realtors who don't. You can be of service and create a massive business without
Yeah.
hustling and grinding with effortless ease, which I learned from Bob as well. So I'm so grateful to share that with your most awesome audience. So there I was doing like a busy bee. Again, it's like to get something. One of the other lies we were sold, D, is that the goal is about getting. Someone out
Yes.
there isn't a piece of meat. The goal is to become. The getting is a byproduct of who we're being, and that's the be do have model of, well, who do I get to be? Wait a minute, I get to be of service, I get to be decisive, I get to be in my power. So when I would make cold calls at the beginning, I had a group with my Mike Ferry friends. We were on Google Hangouts, and we're like, I'd make on Money Mondays, which is ironic now that I'm offering Manifest Mondays, by the way. So there's
Mm-hmm.
such irony in this. I'd make a couple hundred calls, get zero results. It was my energy, because energy, it speaks. We don't have to say a word, right? Because I was looking to hustle and grind, and hey, I was with the men, they were doing it, and we can really step into our divine feminine and create differently, right? And then from there, when I learned the be do have, it was so magical. D, I'm like, watch out, guys, the first one is going to be a listing appointment, and it would be. And we all have that power. Whoever's listening
Amazing.
in, you're one call away from a completely different life. That starts with one decision. So it's
That
be,
is
do, have, not have, do, be, or not do, have, be.
That's absolutely amazing. And you touched on something that I'd like to ask you about
Please.
male and female energy. Now, do men and women manifest differently? Should they be treating this a little bit differently? Because they think differently, they're programmed differently physically, right? So how does that, like, is there maybe a little bit different things that they can do as opposed to women?
Thank you. Great question. Manifestation applies because the universe doesn't distinguish. Like, it doesn't know, like, by the way, there's no big, small, man, woman for the universe, right? Like, that's why thank you for asking this. If you're asking for a non existent Canadian red penny, I always remind my clients, or they're my precious beloved, or $1 billion. It doesn't know the difference. So please ask big. I invite you to ask big and then ask bigger, because it really doesn't know size based on the law of relativity. Everything is relative. So when I'm saying ask big, it's really big for you, right? Um, However, there is something called masculine and feminine energy, right? And it has nothing to do with gender. We all have uh,
Mm-hmm.
both. Ideally, you want it to be balanced. So I was more in my masculine. So for a man to go door knocking, and I door knocked with a buddy of mine. He would not get tired. He was fine. I'd be like, I need to go back to bed now. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? Right. So we were very different in that sense, in that, if I had, and it was a lie, the story I had bought into the lie that, oh, both my sisters were in real estate before me, by the way. So they had the family members. So, oh, I don't have family members. It was just a lie, because my paradigm, my mental programming, D, was that life is hard. And I, of course, didn't have
Mm-hmm.
the awareness it must be hard. Why else was I going door knocking in the plus 40, in the minus 40, when really, with the love that I have alone with my enthusiasm, I could have created clients anywhere, literally, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I did it
Yeah.
the hard way. I called
Mm,
FISBOs, I called
yeah.
expireds,
That
I,
is extremely difficult. It's way easier to just manifest, right? Just
yeah,
bring them to you.
yes, attract, right? But I
Hmm.
was manifesting that by default of my
Yeah.
conditioning. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize until I had left real estate, I realized, wow, I have mental programming that I think life is hard, versus now I keep repeating it's easy. It gets easier and easier. And of course, for whoever hasn't done the work, it is very hard. Like my paradigm, not interested to get out of bed, and let alone be here. You said, thank you for being here at night. Like, all it wants to do is eat, drink, sleep, eat, drink, party. And when we get to know who we truly are, and that we are pure spirit, pure souls, and spirit is for expansion, right? Well, all we want to do is serve, because we are pure liquid love. Love is service. That's our job. It's a
That's
privilege.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
So
absolutely
different.
beautiful.
Yeah. Does that
Yeah.
resonate? Like, different in ways that I was hustling and grinding like a man, versus
Hmm.
I could have just gone to a party or a networking event.
And I think when you come from a place of giving, if you come from a place of service, people are going to be naturally attracted to you. They're going to naturally want to work with you. They're naturally gravitated to you. And that's the
Yes.
beautiful thing. And you're right. And it's like, and I think that as women, we get mentally drained more. We get extremely like we don't how do you say the word compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the word.
Yes.
We
That's a
don't really do
masculine
that.
trait. You're right. It's easier for the
Exactly. So
man
we
to
tend to get a
focus.
more emotionally drained, we get exhausted, and it's really difficult for us in that sense. So I love that if we're grateful, we're putting our energy out there, we are more attracting to us, right? Like attract and from a place of service, from a place of giving. And that's I've always had that model where I'm always going to come from a place of giving without expectation.
I love it. That is beautiful. It will come back multiplied, and without expectation is key. That you
Yeah.
radiate that, by the way. I'm not surprised. That is truly key. Tony Robbins says that the secret of living is what else is there? And the byproduct is having everything abundant come to you multiplied, because we're all farmers, whether we're in real estate or not. We're all farming seeds. What are we planting? Seeds of love, of abundance, of peace, joy, bliss, effortless ease, freedom. That's what we're going to get, and that's why you've created this beautiful life. I mean, it's a testament to who you are, because we attract that. It's not SuZan being positive, by the way. Thought I'd
Well,
have a
it's a
little
big
fun
part of
with
that. And after I speak with you, like I feel better. I feel
you.
amazing. I feel inspired. And so no, like nobody knows this, but I used to just for pick me up, I used to watch The Secret once a year.
I love it. I recommend that,
I
by the way, to
just as
you.
a
Yeah,
reminder,
yeah.
just as a reminder to say, you know what, you are more powerful. You can manifest things. And it's like, and once a year I would just watch it.
Yes.
Like, why not?
I
Like,
did
it
too.
doesn't do me any harm. And it just reminds you that you can do it. You could do anything. You can just put your mind to it. You can manifest anything. You can be positive. You can create anything in your life. And it just gives me that, it always gave me that energy to keep going.
I love it. I love it. Please keep going, even if you continue, because there's so much more that you're going to co-create. Yeah,
Oh, I am so ready for it. I am ready. That's so
yeah, yeah.
wonderful. And
So happy to hear this.
so
Yes,
let me ask you a personal question. Of course,
yeah,
we are all human.
yes,
We
of
have
course.
shitty days, we have shitty weeks. How do you cope? How do you manage? And do you like, of course, you deal with a lot of people in your coaching and you want to be of service, but not everybody's going to come in all positive and chippy. And do you take that on? How do you manage with your disappointments in life? How do you manage life? It's life. Of course, there's going to be disappointments.
Hmm.
What do you do personally?
Two separate questions, so I'll answer both. They're so fantastic. The first one, that was the adorable owners, Ken McLaughlin, the whole Remax Hallmark's son, who asked me, because are you always like this? Because he saw me. It was like every time he saw me, I was the same. It's like, okay, now it's been 5 years. They haven't seen a different version of me, and they're like, you're always. And so this is the real truth. The things that used to take me months, Dee, started taking me weeks thanks to the work. But I'm a product of the work in that I do it every day, right?
Hmm.
And uh, most people that I speak to don't seem to get this yet. You have something limitless in here. If we're not working on it every day, we're actually cheating on ourselves. There's so much magic that we can create. It's not about the money. It's about who we become, because there's none of the money we can take with us, and nothing we do we can take with us. The only thing we can really leave behind is who we've become, and that's the only thing we can take. Like, I'm inspired by the highest version of myself and to be her every day, and the more I become, the more I'm looking forward to become that version. So things that used to take literally maybe years, even not months, if I were honest, years than months, started taking weeks, then days, then hours. So things don't take me long because there's awareness. So if I may speak about awareness here to answer this question as well, is Bob would always say that the only difference between each of us is awareness, and I didn't get it. So if we're at a five-star resort, we're there as guests. There's a person who's cleaning the place, there's the person who owns the resort, and there's a person who, or that same person also owns multiple multi-billion dollar resorts, right? Um, the only difference between each one of us is awareness. Everyone is this universe's highest form of creation. If you believe in God, you're God's highest form of creation. So how aware are we? And how much are we using it? Because one of the biggest lies is that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. The use of knowledge is power. Most of us aren't using knowledge for us. Awareness in a different way, since I'm a former realtor, you're a beautiful realtor, is it's like a condo. You're in the most luxurious condo you've ever seen in the world, and there's someone like underground taking care of the electricals, let's say. They have no clue it's a luxury building. That's how most are living, by the way. Most are unaware. They're like fish in water. They don't even know that they're fish in water. What happens is you do a couple of years of coaching, you go into a bigger tank. My goal with the ones that are staying year over year over year, like the Billionaires Club, one guy went on, he's now sold over $3 billion in real estate. But now he's selling hotels. Now he's creating worldwide businesses. So now his awareness is growing. He's like, I don't just want to be a realtor anymore. And not to say that it's just, if that's what someone wants, that's fantastic, but we're getting awareness that there's so much more worldwide. He wants worldwide businesses, and I'm helping him with that while he's still a realtor, right? So from there, that is awareness. There's a person who lives on the third floor. They know it's a luxury building, but no clue that, my goodness, the entire Mediterranean can be seen. And then you have the owner of the building. He owns multiple more all over the world. He lands in his private elevator or on his helipad. He can see all of the beauty. That's the levels of awareness that we lack. And that's why I say I'm just, starting to scratch the surface of what's possible, is because what I can know tomorrow through more awareness, through more unlearning, is I don't know what that is. Right? And I can't see my blind spot when I'm driving. And that's why coaches have coaches. It's like, someone needs to catch me where I'm at. So back to your question, now that I'm aware, it's like, I know that I'm living now from the inside out, D, versus the outside in. So I know that it's a thought, first of all, and I understand that I'm not the thought, I'm the limitless soul behind it. So because of my awareness, I'm able to separate it. So the thought isn't me. Let's say something bad happens. And first of all, in the law of attraction, there's nothing good or bad, by the way, if I may, right? The bad that we call bad, right, is contrast. Let's say every day is a sunny day here in Dubai. One day was a little not as sunny. I was like so grateful for it. My mood wasn't as happy, by the way, because sun does make me happier. I am human as well. You're right. And I'm like, oh, it's contrast. Then when it's sunny, I actually appreciate it more. But how many of us actually live that way, to actually use contrast for us, right? Or use the supercharged shifters. Like if we sleep unhappy, which most are, once we have that awareness, there is a level of self-loathing that I had that I didn't know I had. I wasn't even aware during those door knocking days, right? That I was going to share earlier, that I get to share now, is that whatever we're feeling inside, we manifest. So if you have self-loathing, which I had, which I wasn't even aware of, you do things that prove to you that life is hard, that yes, it's not going to be easy. Yes, you must work harder to crush your goals or whatever it is, right? Versus now, thanks to the self-loathing and all of the contrast in my life, right, that I attracted through childhood traumas, I started being able to see that the contrast is actually happening for me. And Tony Robbins would talk about this differently. He would say, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. This can also be used, Wayne Dyer talks about perception, and perception is one of our higher faculties. So if we're aware of our higher faculties, which perception is one of them, imagination is another. So I invite everyone to visualize their perfect day. That's how we create it. But most are in reactionary mode. You get up, oh, the alarm, oh, let me get the coffee, let me get the dog, let me get the kid, let me go for a walk. Well, no, it's not usually a walk, it's this. I invite all precious souls. So what I do, the alarm went off, by the way, to remind me, although we're on silent and do not disturb, to remind me I've recently been going on airplane mode. The only time I used to go was when I was on a plane. Like, doesn't matter. That way, there's nothing. See, I'm becoming bulletproof, which if I can do it, by the way, everyone can, by really making sure that all those devices they've created on purpose to keep us away from our true selves, I'm turning them off. So I invite whoever's listening in to put themselves on airplane mode the last hour of the night. This is the last hour. To put
Love
yourself
it.
on airplane mode the first hour of the day. To start
Mm-hmm.
your day with prayer if it's for you. For me, it's meditation, right? Because now you're reprogramming your neural pathways. So I've been doing that for years, Dee. It's easy to talk now, right? But
Yeah.
also, not but, and also for whoever is listening in, I'd be more than happy to give multiple of those supercharge shifters, because when you start doing them every day, now that becomes your habitual way of being versus, oh no, you get up and oh my God, Instagram, oh my God, the news. So at a Mike Ferry event, it was in 2017, he said, don't listen to the news. That time I came back to Toronto, and I got rid of my flat screen TV at the time.
Wow.
No
That's
more cable, no,
amazing.
and I
Yep.
haven't listened to the
Yep.
news, because otherwise the way they've done it is live from the outside in. If we live from the outside in, what I'm talking about is going to be way harder if you wake up and first thing is coffee and news, versus it's going inwards. There's infinite magic within us, within you, Dee. And if anyone listening in, by the way, if they want a free call with me because we're together, I'm more than happy to offer that, like one-on-ones, no
Yes.
strings attached, right?
Thank
And I
you.
want to offer it actually to you, because you've
Oh, you're
you've
so
been giving,
sweet.
and you haven't asked for it. But these are, so this is one. So with that awareness, it becomes like it starts taking milliseconds, because I have an awareness that I'm not the thought. I'm able to distinguish it. And with the self-love, thanks to the self-loathing, a contrast, a big contrast, by the way, I love myself too much to let myself think of anything negative. My thoughts are mine. And a quick hack for whoever's listening in, thank God we get apparently, and the secret talks about the 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, right? That means we're alive. Pinch yourself, literally. The first thought is never in our control, Deep, but that means we're alive. The second one always is. So because of
Mm-hmm.
my higher levels of awareness, the first one comes in. I used to love being a victim and sitting in my dirty diaper, as I call it, or the mud. Now it's like, no, life is so much better here. Why would I do that to myself?
About your clients taking your energy, like you're giving so much of yourself, and it's about them kind of like are you being drained of that, like they're bringing their garbage to you, so to speak, right? Like they maybe they're having a bad day, that's why they need you. Do you feel that that drains you?
No more. Thank you. Yes, at the beginning, it was. Um, It was, and I've learned this about empaths, and you're a beautiful empath. It does, there's a distinction between sympathy and compassion. When we practice compassion, and I see them in the highest light. I think that is what we all need, right? Is if I see them with sympathy, that's judgment,
Mhm.
my work is not to judge, right? So because, and judgment is one of the lowest vibrational frequencies we can be, and most of us grew up judging. And if I judge another human, I've really judged SuZan. It's all a projection, right? So instead of sympathy, I have empathy and compassion and love for them. So I don't, there's, because of also all the daily practices in my awareness, now there isn't. And I also know that I've, I intend that every call is going to be multiple breakthroughs. It may not be, by the way, right? That every day right? That's my intention. So I go in with what I'm up to. And this, by the way, is such a great question. Thank you, Dee, because it ties in with any precious soul listening in, for you as well, of course, is when you have a vision, you're pulled by the vision. You're not sucked by the stories, whether it's the news, whether it's the elections, whether it's your child, your spouse, your ex, the dog, whatever the dog. It's never the dog. The dog is great, right? Right. It is instead of living from the outside in, we just start living from the inside out, and we can have true mastery of the biggest real estate, which is the one between our two ears. And that's if it's, believe me, with my toxic positivity and how negative I was, if I can do it, anyone listening in can do it.
Beautiful. And I
And
love that you said that we have to appreciate the contrast as well. Like if it wasn't for winter, summer wouldn't be so pleasant, right?
yes,
I just absolutely love that. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it is about that and understanding that and almost appreciating it. It's like, okay, you know what? I appreciate the winter because that's how much more I'm going to enjoy summer. And that's a great way to do it. And it's really knowing because if everything was absolutely perfect in our life, however we define that, we won't know what perfect is,
I love that.
right?
Absolutely. Yes, I speak about that. I say that you were actually born in the perfect vibration, perfect baby D, right? Everyone everyone is. And in your DNA, you're perfect. There's royal blood literally coursing through you. I hope you can feel it like a goosebumps in every molecule, every cell, everything within you, right? And your body. And in your ways of being, you ain't so much. But I always say that who am I? I live in the biggest glass house. This is a judgment free zone. That's the actual beauty of being a human being. If we had it
Mm-hmm.
all figured out, as you said, like perfect in our DNA, we are, but in our ways of being, we aren't. That's the work. And most of us, Steve, back to your previous question to tie it in with this as well, is no blame on anyone and huge distinction, radical responsibility. We weren't taught that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we're like, for me, for most of my life, I was in victim mentality, so I can speak very, very eloquently about it, no problem, right? Or very honestly and openly as well, is that we get so used to it, it's so toxic, but we love it because it's a familiar, right? That I didn't even know any better. But with awareness day to day, when you realize who you are is a victor with a capital V, and that all of life's beauty, all of the abundance is available to you. And when I talk about abundance, I don't mean only money, I mean everything, right? It's like, why would I choose differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? When it starts
Mm-hmm.
to feel good, feeling good is your divine birthright. And by the way, as per the secret, as per the law of attraction, it is the secret, which is no secret. But our habitual way of being in defense of any precious soul listening in is to default back to not feeling good. It's like I'm ready to cuss someone out if they just cross me off at traffic. It's a mental programming, but we have something limitless when we practice that daily. It's like yoga, it's like going to the gym, right? Instead of, we don't go to the gym once a week or go once a month for 10 hours and not go. But when we practice the mind gym every day, or the mental rehearsal of us being our highest version every day and starting the day by nudging ourselves to choose in powerfully and to decide what, like today, a message I sent to my clients was, what infinite possibilities are we co-creating today? And then I had the calls around that because I said, guys, if we don't design today by design, it's going to happen by default through yesterday's emotions because it's
Yes.
thoughts, feelings, actions. But we have to be so aware to actually choose in and decide that that's how it's going to go.
We are so powerful. So let's talk about your gym. One of a kind, unique gym. Let's talk about that. And you're the only one that's created this. So let's touch on that. I want to know more about it.
Oh, thank you, T. It's a privilege to be in the mind gym. So, having been a realtor with so many real estate coaches, they're all fantastic. I saw a missing in true accountability. I saw a missing in being together in a community. So it was like quarterly, and I've been to Vancouver with another coach, been to San Diego, to Vegas with other coaches, and it's like, well, it's quarterly, or the coaching calls are twice a month or once a week. So I created something daily where it's in and out, it's very fast, 30 minutes on Zoom, live with me. So there is the big motivational factor, as I said, because of how I live my life. I think without enthusiasm, it's not worth it for me anyway. No judgment if someone isn't, right? There's big motivation, big inspiration, there's big accountability, because you can't actually fall down much. Like, I'll catch you right away, like they can't be in the mud for too long, where I call it the dirty diaper, just to wake them up, because they're all adults, grown adults, and it doesn't look very good, the visual of that. I'm like, okay, are we ready to get out? Because I call them
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
right? And we're basically every day growing our awareness and creating our lives by design instead of by default. best of all, it combined a few great things. It's what Jim Rohn says, you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. It combined the idea of how you start your days, how your day is going to go. It's part of our miracle morning rituals. We get to be together every morning. Well, for me, it would be afternoon at the moment, but it's their morning, which I honor. So it's that. And we're basically getting to learn. Bob Proctor would always say, and I think he took this from his mentor, and it sounds so insulting to you when I first heard it. I'm like, who are you to say that? How could you say that? And I find it very true. Only 2% of the population thinks, 3% think. They think 95% would rather die than think. And if you watch what most are saying, you can really link it to see how much or how little they are. So we are actually learning to think, and we're learning to unlearn all of the programming so that we can unleash into the fullness and the essence of who we are. Your pure liquid magic, and they get to know that, and I remind them every day.
That is so beautiful. And so you help people in many different ways. So you have courses, you have your Mondays, you have the Mind Gym, which I think it's just incredible. That's my kind of gym, let me tell you.
Thank
And
you.
you are offering a completely free 5 day. So please touch on that. I think I'll be on there for sure. I think anybody who's anybody needs to do this 5 days, especially the fact that it's completely free. You're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, out of service. And so please talk about that. And I'm going to also make sure that your links are below in the description,
Sure.
and also the free 5 day and your Monday motivation and your gym and all these different things. I want to include that because I think there's so much value in there for everybody to live their life by design, and an opportunity to do it for free if somebody doesn't have those financial means right now, but that is something they can work towards. And that is something that they can definitely create through the 5 day workshop that you're doing. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Dee. You're such a gift, making such a big difference for your community, and thank you for that. Really appreciate you. The 5 day is free for everyone worldwide, and it will go deeper into everything we've been talking about for 5 days because it'll be 90 minutes a day. It will actually be at a great time, 7 a.m. PST, which is great before starting the day for me to pump you up and get you present to the magic that you are and create, as you said, because whatever we intend, we will create. And then when the 5 days are done, I'm going to offer everyone also a complimentary 4 week session with me for Manifest Mondays as well. So
Wow.
we'll have the dates as given as well, and that will be every Monday with the exception of one Monday that's a long weekend in Canada. So we'll do it on a transformational Tuesday. But we call it Manifestation Monday because it starts the week off, which is for motivation, momentum, money Mondays, mindset Mondays, magnificent Mondays, magical Mondays. But truly, every day is magical. Every day I tell my clients that ends with the day. But it's a course that I designed for whoever doesn't want to be in the work 5 days a week, because that really takes something, by the way. 5 days a week is you're all in, you're super committed to a life by design, to actually do it in bite size on Mondays to start the week off fresh, because we know that our days become our lives, and how we start our days, how our day goes, but also how we start our week is how the week goes usually. You miss the gym
Yes.
on Monday, then before you know it, it's Friday, you haven't gone, versus let's get in there on Monday. And for whoever's in Manifest Mondays, I also send them daily messages to keep them awake. That's our work, I think, Dee, to keep each other awake,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
hold each other's hands virtually, physically, to return to love because that is who we are, to know your own divinity, and to back to a remembering of who we are.
It is a remembering because we
We
deep inside our subconscious, we know it's just to be reminded, to be jolted because we are so distracted. There's so much noise out there. There's so much noise online. There's so much noise out there. There's negativity. There's things that are thrown at us. I swear sometimes my days are a test to my
Yes,
sanity.
yes.
And it's about just reminding. It's like, hey, you can create that. You can create that week. You can create that day. So, make it the best day you can because you have the power. Life is short. We are limited to how much time we have on this earth, and it's a matter of making it the best we can. And I love that you're doing that, and you're helping people with that. So thank you, SuZan. And I'll make sure all your links are in the description. You are a force to be reckoned with. And I hope that people do sign up at least for the free one, and that'll give them an opportunity to get introduced to you and get their life kind of in order, so to speak, their mind, their soul, and be able to do that, and maybe move on and do greater things with you. So I'm really thrilled to be able to share that with the audience and my friends, and I'll be there for sure. And that's April 28th, I believe you
Yes.
said,
Oh, I'm
for the
so
free one.
delighted to be of
I'm so
service to you.
excited. I think
Oh,
there's just so much value, and I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you being here. And I hope that people don't squander this opportunity. You know, when we're asking for opportunities, we're always asking, it's like, oh, why doesn't this amazing things happen to me? Well, you are that amazing thing that can happen to someone, and they need to take and they need to take advantage of this. I truly feel that this is an opportunity for people to do that. So you've been asking, here she is.
God, it takes one to know one, by the way. Thank you, Dean. You're so inspiring. Thank you so much for having me. And if there's another time that I could come by just to do supercharge shifters, because I can see how it can seem positive. That's why on purpose by design I said I used to be toxically negative, or toxically positive, excuse me. So people know that what is truly possible, because if I can do it, and I was so unaware. You know, people say, how are you so aware now? Well, it's the work, right? And I went from completely sleeping to now waking up literally every day, and quantumly more every single day, because what becomes through doing the work every day, it's like compound interest. It's compound coaching now. The more we have these beautiful conversations, right? The more I become aware of what our humans need. Being a human being is so precious. You are beyond beautiful and precious. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Thank
so
you,
honored.
SuZan. Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing you on the 28th for sure. And
Please.
maybe I'll sign up for some
Oh,
other ones as well. I think it's a beautiful thing, and that you're offering, and I'm so grateful. So thank you so much, SuZan.
my joy, Dee. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm kind of mind blown. I am so grateful for SuZan to be on here with us. I have gotten so much value and reminders on how powerful we are. I know that I'm going to be putting pen to paper today and manifesting even more of an incredible life. Life is so short, and I want to be living the most amazing, amazing life myself. And I hope you do as well. And know that we are powerful enough to be able to create that. So don't forget the links below. There's some free materials, the free courses with SuZan in there. You definitely don't want to miss it. Start building your life by design. I think this is such an incredible blessing and such an incredible opportunity. So go get it. I'll see you there.